Hello guys, Sendou here again. So I just wanted to make a video on the new patch that just came out around 12 hours ago. So I had some chance to try things out, how it feels and so on, but of course this is still like early impressions. I can claim to be the player who plays something for like 3 hours and right away knows what's what. But yeah, I'd just like to maybe demonstrate the changes and give my impressions on where things may be headed with this new patch. So just to start with the changes, they made a couple like bug fixes, I guess, which I think are still like significant. So I'll just demonstrate that. I think the first one was that now when you make contact with this flick, it's gonna kill. I believe this was not the case before. I didn't play the rollers, but I didn't get a chance to experience this by myself. But yeah, there's like small changes to make roller a bit more, you know, usable, I should say. And yeah, like it's nice that they take account of these things. Other like kind of like same kind of thing like bug fix was. With sloshing machine, when you ink a wall, it used to be really hard to make that like this kind of like long, consistent rails, which was kind of annoying on some more like vertical maps. Like you can make this, you could only make the small like ball here, but yeah, like small changes still nice to have. Nothing like game changing, but still nice to have. Okay, so this is the weapon everyone hates apparently. And the question is it still like top tier? And the answer is absolutely. Like there's no way it's not top tier. It's still like the most like or like best in combat ink armor weapon. So what they did is that they made the 4 hitbox 52, which is I guess reasonable. Some people suggested they'd make the side sloshes deal less damage. So side sloshes would deal less than 50, for example. Personally, I just don't think it's the vision they have with the weapon. Like, I think they want the sloshers to be easy to aim kind of weapons. And if they change that, then it might be different. But yeah, as you can see, like it doesn't. It's not gonna be like a 2-shot kill every time. If you go like here, it's much easier now to miss the 2-shot kill, like when you're above them, for example. But if you're on the ground level, then yeah, it's always gonna be 2-shot kill. But you used to be able to kill them like this, so this is no longer possible. So, okay, small nerfs to Tri-Slosher to make it something that you necessarily don't have to play like 3 in 1 team comp or whatever. And there was one more change with this. They decreased the firing range, so yeah, 9%. You can go and see like comparisons somewhere, but yeah, it's a bit more like a different weapon from Slosher. That's what I like. Like they made it different from Slosher, which is, I believe, a nice thing to have. And just moving on to special weapons, since there were like a huge amount of changes to them. Can find something that builds Stingray fast. Well, there's one weapon I wish they would have buffed. Like this weapon right now is so wonky. Okay, so Stingray. I believe we may be heading in the era where Stingray is actually like close to being broken. It's kind of hard to tell. I think especially for TC, I played that Stingray a lot for TC yesterday, and I think Stingray might just be a bit too strong now. I guess we'll see, but so if you don't know, like if you hold it a couple times, it makes this like dead laser thing, which is a lot easier to aim, and a lot harder to avoid, of course. So I guess the idea they had was that you have to hold the trigger you have to be holding the trigger in order to get the effect, so then your enemies can kind of like evade you, since you don't know where they go with the wall hacks and whatnot. But still, like, when you think about like if these guys run it over or whatever, you know where they are, then you can just, you know, if this, especially if they stand still, you just like get really fast kills on them. And overall, like, I think it's gonna be very mode specific. Like for TSC, Stingray gonna be really annoying. Maybe for some Rainmaker maps, maybe not so much for Splat zones. But you know, I honestly think they might have been a bit too like eager to buff Stingray. But that remains to be seen. Splashdown. Well, this is one of the changes that might make a regular Splattershot actually a better choice over D-Deck. So there's be a lot of complaints again. But yeah, again, just read the changes. Decrease the amount of time player remains at the peak of the height of the jump by like 10 frames. Increase the peak height of the splashdown jump by roughly 31%. Increase the minimum damage caused by splashdown from 40 to 55. That's the important one. Decrease the points recovered to use splashdown special for set of my weapons is per bit. Okay. So first of all, you jump higher. So in theory, you're harder to shut down, and you spend less time in the air. Again, you're harder to shut down, and maybe it's easier to cut people in the effect. But what's really important is that it deals now 55 damage. So what's that gonna mean is that I have my blaster here. How much does blaster deal damage? 50, at least 50 in this game. So unless you floor shot, but let's assume you know how to aim at least that much. So what's gonna happen with splashdown is that, okay, it deals 55 damage. Now instead of like minimum of 40, which means it will always complement splashdown. So if you like, it's you can see like the range is so good. Like even there I hit like 70, but if you get the 50 far hitbox with splashdown, which I believe would be pretty common, since when people see splashdown they gonna like run away. Now and yeah, you can follow up with a blast and it's one hit kill. And same thing is of course if you play like splatter shot, then you know maybe you hit them with the burst bomb, and that also kills now more reliably. So again, like these kind of follow-ups for splashdown are gonna be pretty huge. You can already see like splashdown being played more in there's one Japanese tournament being played right now, and you can see blaster being played. Like it's pretty good. It inks pretty well, so you can like use it to like reset zone. And of course, probably gonna be big for more objective like based modes as well. Ink Storm. Increase the radius of effect by roughly 13%. Well, I don't have to showcase this because, you know, it's got some of the effects from a special power-up, I believe. Which is nice, small buff, you know, nothing significant. I don't think Rain Cloud was in a especially bad place, so, you know, they just give it a small pat on the back. Bowler, more changes, but again, let's use it. So made the bowler less likely to be knocked back when hit with enemy attacks. So, you know, same as everyone, like Kraken's and everything, when you like shoot them, they kind of like they get knocked back. So that's less now, which is okay, pretty significant because you can't like hold them forever. Like in real game, it doesn't seem like even with a shooter you can hold the bowler back if they wanna like approach you. It's durability of the bowler by 0.5 seconds. And the gear ability, special ability up is being used. Isn't being used, okay. So again, like you get a bit more durability with your bowler. Again, probably like this is just some things that make it easier for you to approach where you wanna be with bowler. Like say I wanna be here, I assume these guys are gonna be shooting at me, so it's more likely that I'll get it here, and then I follow up with my Luna. Okay, there you saw the 55. Increase the minimum damage caused by explosion from 30 to 55. Okay, this is a big one for something like Luna. Like I explained before, like 50 is like the least you can make Luna do if you are really like off aim today. So now, anytime they get hit by baller, you just follow up with a blast and they die. And yeah, that's I think that's big for weapons like Luna. Alright, I guess 52 could be like 52, same thing. You can get the one hit and they die, which wasn't possible previously. Like it's pretty rare for someone to get like auto killed with a baller. Like they would be so close to the range. It's more likely that they run away a bit and get damaged a bit, and then you can follow up. But yeah, this made that a lot easier with these two specials, which is pretty interesting. They also increase the damage radius of the explosion by roughly 70% and radius of ink coverage by roughly 7%. So yeah, same thing, makes it harder for people to escape. And even if they do, then you just follow up with your 52 or your Luna or whatever. Just could check how much health rate was, I don't remember. Go and play it enough to know. Well yeah, this would kill anyway. But like if you kinda like hits only 2 hits, it's gonna kill now. Yeah. Like this, we had a lot of things that are changing, but I think they're really like big changes. And increase power's explosion to knock back opponents, so this is a thing too. Hard to say, like again it makes harder for you to follow up, but when you like explode, you can see like enemies get blown back, which is pretty funny. I think it's been pretty funny kills where people like get blown off the stage or whatnot. But overall, like baller, like it's a pretty huge buffs, which is probably like needed. Inkjet, okay, this is another common one people complain about a lot. So first of all, I'm holding the first weapon in Splatoon history, which takes 230 points to charge special. It's pretty interesting. It's not a Chink Mini. It's not Dynamo with Echo. It's Tentec with Inkjet. So that's something they decided was a bit too OP, so now it's not. Okay. Increase the size of the hitbox of the player using the Inkjet, make them easier to shoot down. Oh, this is a change I don't agree with. Because honestly, like, when I think about it, the better players become, the more naturally they become better at shooting Inkjet down, right? So was it really that hard to shoot it down? I don't know. You just had to think about it more and maybe choose weapons to deal with it. Like blasters were better at it than shooters, obviously, but isn't that natural? Like, isn't that how the game is supposed to be played? Like, I don't necessarily agree with the change. Or like Slossers also were like specialists in that. Decrease damage radius of inkjet shots hitting the ground by roughly 70% and radius of ink coverage by roughly 20%. So yeah, I guess it's a bit harder now, like stink stuff. And overall, like, it's gonna be like, okay, I haven't used inkjet after patch, so of course I have to still play it. But especially with the latency and how they have to see it hit them, it's I think it's gonna be pretty rough with inkjet sometimes. Just because you have like, okay, you have to aim, that's one thing, and I'm sure most people can do it. But also like if they don't see it, like hit them on their screen, then you're not gonna be able to confirm the hit. And someone can confirm if I'm wrong with this, but I don't think I am. And yeah, it's just something that makes it harder. I think the inking nerf makes sense. And then there's the one more nerf, increase the damage dealt to players standing directly beneath the inkjet deals by roughly 75%. So the actual jets deal less damage now. I can show that as well. But yeah, like, I do agree with the rest of the nerfs. Like, I do agree with the damage nerf, and I do agree with the nerf I'm about to show now. Like, look, it's pretty amazing. I can hardly like even pull the inkjet off this range twice. But yeah, like this should never like kill as fast as it did. So yeah, it just kills way less. Way less with way less. I mean, way more time. So that's a good change, and decreased damage radius, not a good change, and the increased hitbox, not a good change, in my opinion. But we'll see how the game plays out, how inkset users adapt. Personally, I probably won't be using custom plaster much. Ink armor, well, surprisingly small nerfs. I can post a test we did with Nike which shows the knockback effect, because now the maximum amount of damage the ink armor can absorb at once is 80%. I mean 80 points. So that means if you get sniped, showcase it. So if you get sniped, well, as we all know, like it deals more than 100 damage. It's 140. So 60 points of that like bleed over. So you do like you have 40 health after. If this guy's armor. Okay, now it's at 60 health. Or like overall, it's just kind of like it won't like no longer like it used to be, so that if this guy had like armor, I kill him. He's at like 100 health, but now it kind of like bleeds over, and he has 40 health. So a nice thing, but also it knocks back enemies. So when you deal more than 100 damage to an enemy with ink armor, any damage exceeding 100 points is dealt to the player, and now knocks them back significantly. So yeah, I'm gonna link the Twitter post I made, which I think honestly it's a nice thing to have, but I don't think these nerfs are gonna make it any less meta to run a lot of armor. I think Chopper might be really strong. If anything, like with armor, as it should be, like if it falls out of meta, it's because the other specials are now so strong. Like Splatoon is strong, Baller is strong, Stingray is strong. So everything's now strong, basically. So I mean that's great. That's a great thing to see. They buff things, yeah, that's great. But also, I don't think they need necessarily some of these nerfs. Like I would be interested in seeing how the game plays out with just the Baller buffs, Splatoon buffs, Stingray buffs, and then see how the game plays out then. And maybe a bit too eager at like, you know, nerfing inkjet just because Tentacles is popular. I think main reason why Tentacles is popular is because it's like a very standard weapon, like no fancy things, like standard shooter. You can recognize it from other shooters. But we'll see how this meta plays out. There's been one tournament that's being played out as I record this, and it had like air spray, Colin air spray and stuff. Because when think about it, like Colin air spray, Baller, buff sprinkler, I think that's pretty good thinking in theory. So you know, we'll know what's gonna happen. And yeah, couple changes to sub weapons, like I explained, Sprinkler's buff. So it like stays, because if you see, like it gets tired after a while. So now it has more stamina, so to speak. So again, like small changes to Sprinkler to make it a bit a nicer thing. Because you can see, like in this state it inks quite a bit, even on like wall. So this state lasts a bit longer, and the medium state lasts a bit longer. Extended by 5 seconds is what they say. Yeah, makes sense. And decreased ink consumption for placing a Sprinkler from 80 to 70% of ink tank capacity. Yeah, those are reasonable changes. Point sensor. Let's see if I find a point sensor weapon. Increased the radius by 20%. That's quite big if you think about like how much 20% would be here. And yeah, it's nice to see that they're buffing point sensor. I think it's very interesting special in that it's one of the like few easy ways to get like echo effect in this game, which is still very strong. Like you get the wall hacks and whatever, you just, you know, wreck them if you know how to aim Splatoon Pro, which I don't. There you go, master in action. And yeah, also they decrease delay until the start of ink recovery after throwing out the point sensor by 15 frames. So if you don't know what this means, like when I throw a point sensor, look at my ink tank on my back. It shows like white ink. It means it doesn't recover until the white ink goes away. So now it just recovers 15% faster, which means you can spam more point sensors. So if that's your thing, then knock yourself out. Splash wall activates faster. Looking forward, I think 96 Deco is gonna be a nice weapon if it gets wall and splash down. But even now, like something like Fire Fin, just activates a bit faster. I think these things are nice to have. Like I think Splashdown was maybe a bit too bad at the start, but now it activates like at a reasonable time. Yeah, like 0.5%, like 0.5 seconds. Not like nothing crazy, but still nice to have. And when you remember Bento and like I used to see like all the good snipers, like all the crazy things they do with wall. I think it's really nice. It's a bit better now. So that's something that's more like in one future with 96 Deco and whatnot, which is really gonna be benefiting from that change. And last change we're gonna cover is Squid Beacon. Oh, takes less ink. What even has Beacon? Oh, Krakon. By the way, Krakon was buffed quite a bit, I think, with Baller changes and Squid Beacon changes. Because right now, like it used to take 90%. But now it's a 75, so you have a bit more like room to do these things. If you use 90% of your ink here, then yeah, it's not gonna be like great for you to do anything afterwards. And Baller, of course, has weak cover, which is like insane. Okay, he's got 55%. I can kill him even with my weak flick. So it's the same thing. It's almost same thing for every weapon. Almost every weapon like benefits from Splashdown and Baller changes. And I think that's about it. Splatfesty, well, now they changed so that every slot takes 7,500 to get. Because people were doing the thing where they only unlock 2 slots and then scrub it because it's more efficient. So now it's more efficient to get like all 3 slots, I guess. Or it doesn't matter. I think that's about it. I know this video, like, as a watching experience, might not be like top tier, but honestly, like for me, this video is just like another way to bring my thoughts out there. Because I do use Twitter quite a bit, but if I record a 20-minute video, then making equal amount of tweets might got me like banned from Twitter. So that's why I make these videos. And someone suggested I would like edit the patch notes on my video to make it easier to follow. But honestly, like there's so many guys who do this much better. If you want to just see chances like changes being demonstrated, then there's better channels to follow for that. I'm gonna link Char. I think he made a nice video on the last changes. So if you just wanna see the changes in action, I'd recommend checking something like that. The aim of this video was more like trying to maybe give an idea of how it could like be changed in the meta or so on. Because like when you think about it, like what was strong in the days of Splatoon 2, I don't think it's gonna change by this patch that much. You're probably gonna still see like stuff like Rabbit playing top tier, even if it uses like... Okay, so one thing I actually forgot to cover was that they changed the special meters, like different weapons take now longer and different weapons take like less time to build special. And of course Rabbit was one of the weapons that takes like more time to fill special coach. And they went up from 180 to 210, so yeah. Like these kind of changes, but they don't really like do anything to the weapon. It's still gonna be like insane to deal with the low sword range meta. And it gets less bomb rushes, which probably makes sense, so it's more like apparent the weakness with ink control. Overall, I don't see anything like the 10 deck 230, that's what I mentioned, up from 210. E-liter down to 170 from 19, so yeah, that's nice. 96 Gal builds armor 10 points faster now, Anzap builds armor 10 points faster. Aerospray builds Baller 10 points faster, so yeah, lots of ballers there. But yeah, overall I think that's like about what I want to say about the video. Like my bottom line is that it's interesting to see where they go in many of the changes. And personally, I can see like quite a different weapons shining in TC and different weapons shining in Splat zones. And also the weapons that were strong, so like early on, like Dry Slaughter, it's not going anywhere. It's not going anywhere. Absolutely not. And same goes with stuff like Dentec or Splattershot, which are very strong, but the actual weapon will stay. And this is not a change that will take these weapons out of meta just yet. But might bring some new weapons. I'm interested in seeing, like, is Aerospray really gonna be stable in Splatoon's meta now? Or is 52 gonna have a news? Is 90s gonna have a news? Like, these are the questions we have, of course, but yeah, it's interesting to see. Like, next patch is in 5 weeks, so we have 5 weeks to play this meta. And yeah, I don't know. Personally, this is probably the most amusing patch I played. Like, honestly, like, the changes are so crazy right now. They really went like all like the down with some of these buffs. And yeah, it's interesting to see how it works out for them. And yeah, if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer. Just leave them in the comment section. And I have a couple ideas for videos in the near future, but I'll also not be doing much Splatoon related stuff for the next 2 weeks, so we'll see how that works out. Anyways, yeah, you guys enjoy your weekend and enjoy the patch and so on, and see you next time.